Good morning everybody. We've decided to do a little video for you to remind you how to put your bow together. On the beginner's course we tend to give you a bow that's ready strung, or we show you how to string it, but we don't tell you how to put the bow together. Last couple of courses we've actually done that. Tony Henderson has given you a quick talk on how to put your bow together, but I know that some of you from previous courses are now getting into buying your own bows, and so we thought we'd just run through how to put your bow together, because it actually comes as a kit of parts rather than what we give you on the beginner's course. So in front of you can see Ollie's got the riser sitting on a stand. You can't actually see on the table the kit that comes with it, but here are the limbs, 1 and 2. Now these limbs go on in a particular way. On the back of the limb you can see, hopefully you can see anyway, there's a little white sticker, and on that sticker it will give you upper and lower. It also gives you some other information, we won't go into that just now. So the upper limb, you read it, and the upper limb goes on the top of the riser. Now obviously the riser has got a very obvious top and bottom. If you don't know which is which, just hold the grip and it will sit in your hand with the top of the riser uppermost and the bottom lowermost. So upper limb clicks into the upper end of the riser. Now this is a very important part here. Ollie, if you just put the other limb down a second. This limb has to click properly into the riser. There are two ways of doing it, the right way and the wrong way. If you do it the wrong way and it doesn't locate properly, you can see Ollie's just showing you a little mushroom by the white sticker there. That little mushroom has to go in a fork in the riser, which you could see right at the Ollie's pointing to now. The other fork in the limb, as you will probably guess, goes onto the big mushroom on the riser. If you were to put the limb on so that the bottom mushroom didn't fit properly into the fork, like that, like so, you can put the bow together like that. You can string it and you can actually shoot it. But when you loose the bow, when you loose the arrow, it will all fall apart. There'll be a big noise and it'll all come apart, and injuries can happen. I've seen this happen 2 or 3 times, luckily without injury, but make sure when you put the limb on that you've got it correctly positioned within the riser. It should go with a click, but of course if you're chatting to people you may not hear that. So Ollie, just put it in and then just give it a little bit of a, there you go, you can see it's nicely firmly in place there. So make sure you do that, check it before you string the bow. So lower limb goes on, exactly the same. Now you heard the click there, that was a nice solid click. Now with the string you will see, just show us the other one for a moment, Ollie. Here's a spare string. You will see some people will do this with the string. They will just take it out, let go of one end, Ollie, and while they're putting it on the bow they will just let one end go. This will take all, eventually will take all of the twists out of the string, and the twists are what give the string its correct length and give you the correct brace height of the bow. I'll come on to brace height in a minute, but you need to keep those twists in your string, and there are a couple of ways of doing that. When you put the string on the bow, or you take the string off of the bow, always hold both ends of the string, and when you actually come to put it away, you can see Ollie's got a little blue plastic coat, a little plastic hook. Some bow strings come with that, some don't. That's useful for clicking them together and holding them together. You can either do that, or you can use a hair grip, a hairpin, or you can do what Ollie's just about to show you. You put one loop through, bring it back over, pull it down. Now your string is nicely held together and won't unwind. So make sure you do that, make sure you keep the twists in the string, and then we put the bigger loop on the upper limb, slide it down, locate the smaller loop on the bottom limb, and the next bit you know how to do. It's the actual stringing, that's what we've taught you to do. Put the sleeve on the bottom end, on the bottom limb, loop over the top. You're not going to see this very well, but that doesn't matter because you already know how to do this.
We hope.
We hope. And sliding the string up onto the top limb. It's nicely positioned. We just give it a little bit of a twang to make sure it's properly in. And Yep, and Ollie's just showing you the groove. You need to make sure that it's sitting nicely in that groove and it's nicely centralised both top and bottom. So now you've got your bow put together. You could go out and shoot it now, but I'm just going to mention a couple of other things that you're going to need to look at before you go and shoot your bow. One of them is what I referred to earlier as the brace height, and that is adjusted by lengthening the string or shortening the string by putting more twists in or taking some twists out. When you get a new string, they will stretch a little bit depending on the material that it's made of, some more so than others, so you'll need to do this occasionally, and it's a good idea to do it on a fairly regular basis, checking the brace height. And Ollie's just putting the measure, this little set square type thing on, clicks on the string, and you take the measurement to the centre of either your plunger if you've got one, or the hole that the plunger goes through. If you haven't got a plunger, then there it is, and you take the measurement to the centre there. That measurement tends to be a range. There is no absolutely correct measurement, and it's a range of around about that, around about that sort of 8.5, 8 to 9 sort of inch area. Now, that measurement is only important to you and your bow, and it can change. Ollie's got a different brace height to the one I've got. Ollie, if you just show me the upper limb end. One way of looking at this, and I don't know if we're going to be able to show it to you or not, just turn it a bit, Ollie, turn it round to the side. That's it. If you look at the way the string comes up on the bow, it comes up and it's just a very, very slight curve as it comes round the recurve section of the bow, and that's what you're looking to get. If you've got a big curve, the string is too long and you need to put some twists in to shorten it. If there's no curve there at all, if it comes straight up, then you need to slacken the string off a little bit and lengthen the string a little bit so you get a decent brace height. But what you can see, hopefully you can see there, with just a little bit of a curve coming over the end of the recurve bow, that's just about spot on, and that will give you a nice brace height. It'll be nice and quiet when you shoot the bow. When you become expert at archer, you can play around with your brace height. It's not something I have done, I must admit. I tend to set mine up and leave it. The other thing that I just want to mention to you, because it's been asked about, is the knocking point, where you tie your knocking points. Now, Ollie, if you just show the spare string a second, it's got two little metal knocking hoops. It's actually kinder to tie your knocking point on using some sort of twine, either special twine. On Ollie's there are two red knocking points, they're tied on. You can use tooth floss, dental floss. What Ollie's I've got there is proper stuff though. It's kinder on the string to tie those, but I'm not going to show you how to do that at the moment. That's a bit beyond this particular video. But you do need to know where you put those knocking points. Now, generally speaking, and again I'm not going to go into full bow setup, we might do that another one if this works out to be a decent video. Generally speaking, that knocking point is going to be about 3/8 of an inch above the arrow rest. So if you can just put the square on the arrow rest for me, Ollie. So the square sits on the arrow rest, and you take the measurement actually from this bottom edge, and it's 3/8 of an inch up. Now it's probably going to be easier for you just to have a ruler or a tape measure. I don't find these markings particularly useful on the square itself. I find them a bit confusing. So take the measurement from the bottom to the top, and that's about 3/8 of an inch. Some people actually take the measurement from the centre of the plunger hole, and the 3/8 of an inch is the bottom edge of the top knock. I do it slightly differently. I put the square on the rest, and I put the 3/8 of an inch to the centre of the knocking point, and then tie or pinch on those little rings on so that you get about 3/8 of an inch. Again, a bit like the bracing height, that can change. It can be different for you as an archer. On a longbow I use a good 1/2 inch up from the knocking point. So mostly on recurve bows you're looking at about 3/8 of an inch. So put your knocking point about 3/8 of an inch up, start off with that. Bracing height, as I've shown you, it's going to be about 8.5 inches, and I think you're pretty much good to go, Ollie. Is that right? Anything I've forgotten?
think so really. Now it's just really add-ons, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll perhaps come to add-ons in a bit. Something just to remind you is that if you're thinking about buying yourself a bow, talk to one of the coaches first, because there are lots of variations in the bow. Ollie's got a 25-inch riser and he's got medium length limbs which give him a 68-inch bow. I have a 25-inch riser, I use long limbs, and that gives me a 70-inch bow, and that's because of the difference in our builds and our draw lengths, etc. So if you're thinking about buying something, then please talk to one of the coaches first. They'll put you in the right direction of getting the right size of limbs and also the right sort of draw weight for you. Well, hopefully that's been instructive. If it's any good, we'll put another one on about proper bow setup at a later date. Thank you for watching. Bye bye now.